All right, well, I want to welcome you to our meditation class. We are going to give just a few minutes for people to get started. If you're watching this on a replay, thank you for coming back and watching us. Today, we're going to be going over two types of meditative practice. We're going to be doing a seated practice, and we're going to do a walking practice. We're going to do maybe a 5 to 10 minute session of each. So it's not going to be a very long class. It'll be very easy for you to pick up. Make sure that we have a few things taken care of before you begin. Ideally, all kidding aside, you should make sure to use a restroom before we begin this so that you don't have to go during the session. The other thing you want to do is make sure that you put your phone on Do Not Disturb. You don't want to just put it on vibrate. You want to put it either on Do Not Disturb or you want to turn it off so that it's not distracting you during the session. And then we want to also make sure that in an ideal situation, you want to have an area that's quiet, free of distractions, whether that be noise from outside. If you can have a place you can sit down and be quiet, that would be ideal. As far as where you're going to sit, now I'm sitting on a cushion. You could sit on the floor. You could sit in a chair. You could sit in any way that you feel comfortable. The thing that we want to try to do is make sure that we sit in a position, in a place, in a way that we can maintain for maybe 10 minutes at a time so that you're as comfortable as possible during that. Now, if you have to adjust during the session, that's all right, but ideally you want to try to be in a comfortable setting to begin with. If you find yourself uncomfortable during the session, go ahead and adjust, move yourself, don't worry about that. But try to refrain from doing a lot of moving around. So in just a moment, we're going to begin. If you happen to be watching live, make sure that you put your questions in early so that I can answer them. I'll have the opportunity after the break of each little practice session we're going to do. So we're going to do a seated practice first. We'll do a maybe 5 to 10 minute session of that. And then we're going to have time for questions if you have any. And then I'll give the explanation of the walking practice that we're going to do. We'll have a 5 to 10 minute session of that. And then I'll be open for questions available following that as well. All right. So find yourself a good, comfortable spot to sit. All right. Make sure that you are relaxed. Your body is upright. Take some full deep breaths in. Full deep breaths out. Just get yourself set and ready. Breathing in, breathing out. Now I'm going to be using this bell to both begin and end our seated meditation. Okay, so when I ring the bell, simply gently close your eyes and relax, and I'll guide you from there. We're going to be using a counting breath practice for this session. That means you will count each breath as you're sitting there, either breathing in or breathing out. You'll count your breath. We're going to go up to the number 10, and then we're going to repeat that over again. So here's an example of that. Breathing in, you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then you'll start over. 1, 2. And that will be the pattern. Now, you don't need to go as fast as I just did. As a matter of fact, once we let go, we have a quiet period to do it. I want you to take your time and breathe in a way that's comfortable and natural for you, and simply practice counting the breaths. And as you get to 10, repeat that over again. Start back over again at 1. All right? So again, you'll be counting the breath in and out. When you reach the number 10, you will start over again, that same process. All right? I'll ring the bell to begin, and then 5 to 10 minutes or so, I'll ring the bell to end us. Just relax your body. Allow the sound of the bell to bring your focus into what you're doing. And I'll guide you through the first breaths. Breathing in, 1. Breathing out, 2. Breathing in, 3. Breathing out, 4. Breathing in, 5. Breathing out, 6. Breathing in, 7. Breathing out, 8. Breathing in, 9. Breathing out, 10. Now begin on your own. Counting your breath as you breathe in. Counting your breath as you breathe out. Just keep a normal, relaxed breath as you count. You will count your breaths up to 10 and then begin at 1 again. Keeping your breath steady as you count your breaths. If you lose your place, simply come back and begin again at 1. If your mind wanders, simply bring it back to the counting of your breath. If while you're counting you go past 10, simply guide your attention back and start at 1 again. Each breath is a single count, all the way to 10, and then begin again. Again, if your mind wanders, simply bring it back. Be gentle with yourself. Bring your attention back to counting your breaths. Gently open your eyes. Now, while you're doing the exercise, you got past 10. That's totally fine. I think that the highest I've ever gotten where I lost concentration I was doing, I got up to 42 before I realized I had kind of lost track in that. The idea is to use the counting as a way of keeping our attention in the present moment of our breath and what we're doing. So the counting of each inhale and exhale, saying the number to ourselves in our mind, helps to block out the distractions that come from the thoughts of things that have happened to you recently or about things that you have to do later, and helps to kind of keep you present in the moment right now and give you the ability to just be in that moment quiet and present to it. And that's so important. If you get distracted, let's say that you're counting and then you get a thought about something and you begin to follow that thought and you're not even counting at all. It's not so much that you're counting past a certain number, it's that you've stopped counting and begin to think about something. Once you recognize that or realize that, just gently guide your attention back to the breathing exercise at hand and start over again. Don't get mad at yourself. Don't get frustrated with it. It'll make it worse. Just relax, guide yourself back, and treat that as a repetition towards your own focus and attention to what you're doing. And then over time, what will happen is it'll happen less frequently. So in a 5 or a 10-minute session, you might have to continuously bring your attention back to what you're doing because it veers off. But with practice, you'll do that less often and less often and less frequently. It might take 20 minutes for that kind of distraction to happen. So again, forgive yourself if you drift off on something. You don't have to be perfect. You have to make progress through your practice. Okay? So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do some walking meditation. Now, in walking meditation, we are going to do this with eyes open, and I'm going to be demonstrating this in about a 6-foot space. There are several ways that this can be done. The version that I'm going to show you in this video is about using it in a small confined area. You could simply use this exercise out at a park, somewhere open. You could also do it at a faster pace than I'm going to demonstrate here. We're going to be taking one breath per step, an inhale and an exhale. And the idea is to use the same kind of counting method we did before, but instead of counting, we're going to be following our steps with our breath. So as you take a step, you're going to breathe in. And then as you take the next step, you'll breathe out. You'll take a step in and then a step out. Okay, so I'm going to adjust our camera to kind of give you a good field of view to what we're doing. So give me just a moment there. Make sure you have a clear space. From this line here to this line here is approximately 6 feet. So try to have about that much space for yourself while you're doing this at home. I'm going to adjust the camera. All right, so we're going to be using pretty much the space here between the mats that I mentioned earlier. All right, so relax your shoulders, take a relaxed gaze down. If you were out doing this going for a walk, you might have your gaze more upright. That's okay. But in this particular case, I'm going to use just a light gaze to the floor, and we're going to breathe in on a step, and we're going to breathe out on a step. All right, so we'll take a breath in and a breath out. and a breath in, and a breath out, and a breath in, and a breath out. Now as you turn, we're going to do the same thing. As we take a turning step, we're going to breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Breathe on the turnaround. We breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out on the turnaround. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in on the turnaround. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Now simply try this on your own at home. Very good. And just bring your attention back here. And let's bring this to a place where you can see me comfortably. If there's anybody that has a question, go ahead and put it in the chat area. I'll do my best to address it, be able to answer it for you. With the walking meditation, if you only have a small amount of space, I showed 6 feet of space. You can probably do it inside of something as small as 3 feet of space. Another variation, and I'll give you a variation since we're here, of doing that would be if you're going to go on a continuous walk. Let's say you're going to go out for a walk around the block. Then you might use several steps to equal 1 breath. So I might breathe in for 4 steps, and then I would breathe out on the next 4 steps, and I would count those, right? And your attention to the step and counting with it, or focusing your attention on each breath of the step, goes back to what I mentioned before of giving your mind something to put its attention on, so that as you're breathing, you're counting the steps, or you're synchronizing the steps and the breathing together, that it helps to block out those places in our mind where we start thinking about something that's happened to us in the past or something that we've got to do in the near future, and helps to bring us back right here to the present moment. So both of these exercises can be done for as short as just a minute or 2, or as long as 20 minutes, or as long as you have time for. The point is to make the time to do it. You can do this indoors, but outdoors is a spectacular way. If you have the chance, you can do this in a park or go for a walk and do it. The walking meditation is fantastic. A seated meditation with the air outside, good fresh air. I'd highly recommend it. If you can't do that, then do it indoors wherever you're at. If you've enjoyed this and you would like to see more of these, I'm going to be doing them on different platforms. This one is on YouTube Live. And if you enjoyed it and you would like to donate to our school and support us, there's a link down in the description that we're able to take donations for any of the things that we do from our facility. So I want to thank you again. My name is Don Frack. I have had the honor and pleasure of being your teacher for this evening, and I hope to have you with us again soon. Thank you.